have you all on video shouting 69 for no reason. Clearly a lot of secrets in this room.
Hi and welcome. So yesterday I went to Bosco Institute of Technology in Mumbai. I went there to give a talk at their annual festival. It was the first time that I'm doing something like this in Mumbai. It was a lot of fun. The college is great. They were very gracious hosts. This is a video of my entire conversation with the audience. I hope you enjoy it. See you.
Warrior. I'm a neurologist, a medical student, because medical students are for life. You never stop learning. I'm a poet, a TEDx speaker, and I don't know why I'm giving my CV to all of you, but today I'm here to share something that I have learned over the last 5 years. And for that, I'll start with a story. Last month, I was in my consulting room. There was a lady in front of me, 70-year-old, sweet lady, had come with her daughter. She said that she had some trouble walking. There was some tremor in her hands, and that's all. I started asking her, is there anything else? She said no. And while she was talking, she kept doing this click noise. I asked her why is she doing that. She said she's annoyed by this boy who keeps interrupting her. I asked, which boy? She said, the boy standing next to you. There was no boy standing next to me. She was suffering from visual hallucinations. And it turned out that she had a disease called Lewy body dementia that actually makes you see and hear things that are not there. A famous person who had this, does anyone know? Robin Williams. Before he committed suicide, and everyone thought it was depression, much later after the biopsy results came in, it turned out that he had Lewy body dementia. Another case, 1 year ago, this was towards the end of my residency, 42-year-old man. He didn't come, his relatives brought him. According to him, he was absolutely fine. According to the relatives, he was absolutely not. His relatives felt that he couldn't see anything. He says, I can see everything. I thought, this is an easy test. What is this number? He said, 2. Okay. What is this number? He said, what number? You're not showing me anything. Again, what is this number? 2. What is this? Nothing. You're not showing me anything. Why are you tricking me, doctor? It turns out that he had something called visual agnosia. He couldn't see anything on the left side of his world, and even worse, he didn't know that he can't see. So according to him, his vision was perfect. His reality was complete. But according to everybody else, his reality was only half complete. We did an MRI scan and it turned out that on the right side of his brain, at the back of his brain, in occipital lobe, there was a big tumor. He didn't know. And the only symptom that he had was nothing. I was in my 3rd year of MBBS residency. I saw a case that I would never forget. 18-year-old boy comes to the OPD with burns on his hands and his legs. There were marks of cuts. There were small little bleeding, punctate wounds. I asked him, how did this happen? He said, I don't know. How is that possible? His hands and legs are injured, they're damaged. How could he not know? Apparently, when he cuts vegetables, he has to look down and see his fingers getting cut and see the blood coming out to realize that he has cut his finger. He had no sensitivity to pain. And he was actually suffering from a rare disease called congenital insensitivity to pain. He was born without the capacity to feel pain. That was his reality. All these cases convinced me that A, neurology is the most fascinating field in the world, and B, what is the neuroscience of reality? Because all these people were convinced that what they were feeling and what they were seeing is true, is real. But clearly, your brain can make you see things that are not there, or it can make you not see things that are there. Another thing that the brain does is it spots patterns. It is always looking to see how one thing matches up to another. Take the example of a human face. There are 7 billion people in the world, but how quickly can you recognize the face of your friend? A second? A millisecond? Look towards your left and right. Look at the faces around you. How quickly could you recognize them? Look at your boyfriend, your girlfriend. Oh. Clearly a lot of secrets in this room. How quickly did you recognize them, if you have them? Your brain has the capacity. No, that's fine. It's important to be able to recognize your partner. बहुत problem होता है नहीं तो. Your brain has the capacity to calculate within milliseconds the distance between the eyes, the distance between the eyes and the ears, the eyes and the nose, the lips, the facial structure. Come up with that pattern, compare it to a memory bank, attach a name, attach a personality, attach memories, attach emotions, and say that iske saath baat nahi karna hai. All of these things happen within milliseconds. And there is a good reason why. There is a separate area in the brain called as the fusiform cortex that is dedicated for this. It's like a separate chip in a mobile phone. And you can understand why evolutionarily recognizing a face is so important. Right? How would you know who your parents are? How would you know who your partner is? It is so important. Suppose something goes wrong in that network. What would happen? It's not an imaginary question. There is a disease called as Prosopagnosia. I dare you to say it twice quickly. What happens in Prosopagnosia? You can't recognize a face. You would be looking at a famous face. For example, I'd show you Mahatma Gandhi's picture or Amitabh Bachchan's picture, and you would just stare at it and say, who is this? In more severe cases, you may look at your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, and say, I don't know who this is. It can actually lead to anxiety, social anxiety syndrome. Would you want to go to a place where everybody seems to know you, but you don't know anyone? I mean, either you have prosopagnosia or you are a social media influencer, one of the two. But it is uncomfortable. People actually get anxiety disorders because of this. Even more, what if you look into the mirror and you couldn't recognize your own face? Simply because the networks in your brain that can recognize a face have been damaged. Not a good situation. And it's not just about sight. Let's look at sound. I want you to close your eyes and tell me if you can identify what this sound is. What was it? You all heard it, none of you saw it. I'm sure some of you saw it. Not everybody closed their eyes, I was watching. But it took you, what, less than a second to identify it? Now, can you predict when I will snap my finger next? Can you? I could do it now. Now, tell me if you can predict it if I do this. Can you do it with me? 100 people catching on to a pattern within a second. How important is that? Our brain spends so much energy in this capacity to pick patterns very quickly. Because the better you are at picking patterns, the better your survival is. Imagine you are a deer in the jungle and you hear a growl of a tiger. The deer that could hear the growl first and recognize what it is gets to run away first. The last one gets killed. So the person who picked the pattern first survives best. Let's look at it another way. Here you know that I'm going to do the snap. What if I say some random words and I ask you to say whatever words come to your mind? Okay? I'll say something random, I'll point the mic at you, and you have to say whatever comes to your mind. Ready? We will. How did that happen? How did everybody come to that same conclusion? I never said rock you. Your brain not only recognized the pattern, but it continued it. You want to do another one? Back in the summer of
69.
I have you all on video shouting 69 for no reason. And that is what the brain does. It creates patterns, it forms loops, and every time you identify a pattern, it gets so happy. When you shouted out 69, okay, when you shouted out rock you, did you feel happy? Why was that? There is a dopamine spike in your brain. Have you heard of dopamine?
Yes.
Good. Have you subscribed to my channel? Dopamine is a neurochemical in your brain. It is what motivates you. It's what keeps you keep on going and chasing after something. And every time you do something that is good for evolution, there's a dopamine spike. That's your brain going, yes, let me do more of that. When you recognize a pattern, your brain not only rewards you for recognizing it, but rewards you even more for finishing it. There is a reason why listening to familiar songs is so pleasurable. Because now you can recognize not only the pattern of the tune, but the pattern of the words, the pattern of the rhythm, the pattern of the dance moves. The more patterns you recognize, the more your brain thinks that you are in control. And who doesn't want to be in control? We are not just experiencing reality. We are actually creating it. We are completing it. Give me half a pattern and I will finish the rest. And this pattern is true not just for things we see, not just for things we hear, but the things we feel. Our identity is a pattern that we have created. At some point in your life, you have formed together some thoughts about yourself, your name, your job, what you like, what you dislike, and now you've created a pattern. But that pattern is half story. The reason that this talk is important is because today we are here talking about the metaverse. We are talking about convergence. We're talking about how all these different senses comes together to give you one sense of unified reality, as if there are no cracks, as if we didn't just make this shit up. But suppose we are making it up. Is that something to panic over, or is that something to feel empowered about? We are constantly, all of us, every single one of us, creating our reality minute to minute, second to second, and that gives us a superpower. The metaverse, the one that Facebook is coming out, will be great, it'll be fun, but we are already living in a metaverse created by the brain. Let's get a hang of that one first, shall we? Thank you.